Hello, everyone. Today I'm joined by Haitham Mattar, the managing director for IHT Hotels in the region. Haitham, great to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here. I'm delighted.
Wonderful to have you in this bustling ATM.
Absolutely.
So, we are lucky. We live in an incredibly dynamic part of the world, and you probably look at one of the most exciting parts of the world hospitality, hotels, and the ever on the move traveler. And this industry is changing a lot from what we see. Lots of new trends, lots of new activity. So perhaps you can share a little bit with us how you see this space evolving and what are some of the big moves that you're making in this.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. That's very good question. And look, yeah, consumer trends, as you mentioned, are ever changing. And what we see today is the speed of people making decisions, but also the fact that they do not want to go to predefined paths. They actually want to, draft their own journey, and they want to plan their own trip.
Yeah.
And they want stuff that's not off the beaten track. It's something that's not necessarily common. Um, a lot of those experiences stemmed from the times of COVID, where people sat at home, reflected, and started saying, what would I do differently? Some things stayed with us from COVID. Some things went away, and we went back, for example, to conglomerating in lobbies and going back to buffets and all that stuff. But a lot of the experiences that people seek today, whether it's gastronomical, these are the trends that are continue to grow and change as we continue to go. Now, look, you must have heard this term before. Data is the new gold, and hospitality happens to sit on an enormous amount of data. I'm sure Visa does too, right? And we actually use a lot of your data into our marketing strategies. But today because of these ever-changing consumer trends, we're much more targeted when it comes to marketing, and we have a better ROI, right? But also, we now understand how consumers are behaving in the hotel. Where do they want technology and where they don't want human touch, and we adjust based on that, right? So all these new trends of people wanting to travel, for example, what we call blended travel, right? So people are now going in for a business travel, and then they want to do an extension of that. So we call it bleisure.
Yeah.
And they, used to see people checking out on a Thursday, and now you see people actually coming in on a Thursday to stay on for the Friday. So they work, from the hotel on Friday, and then have a great weekend. And allowing people to work from home, especially in our company, we do that on Fridays. Has allowed people to take longer vacations, has allowed them to take longer, shorter trips as well if they have to, and recharge. Yeah, so that helps also because the trend of people wanting to have focus on their well-being and wellness. It's not just about eating healthy, but it's about recharge and being able to just disconnect when they want to. That is another level of trend that we're seeing in consumers today. The trends of consumers are also dictating how we design hotels. It's dictating what kind of brands we bring in. So, people now, there's a huge demand for luxury lifestyle. There's bigger demand for what we call lean luxury. I don't necessarily want a suite. Yeah, just give me a room, but I want it really nice, right? I want it very trendy. I want it young. So just give me a nice room and give me a clean meal, right? And perhaps, there's a lot of things that I want digital. I don't necessarily want to call laundry and say, hey, can you pick up my laundry? I could just have an app, 2 clicks, and somebody picks up my laundry and brings it back. Yeah, so these are the sort of trends that are dictating design, dictating our technology upgrades, and dictating our investment with hotels, or how investors are looking to build hotels of the future.
That sounds fascinating. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot more travel.
Absolutely.
It's going to be blended, as you said. I love that. Longer travel, perhaps, and lots of new formats.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye out on us.
Yes.
Wonderful. So all this is great, and I think this will continue to grow as you speak. But the most, of course, from my point of view, critical element of this is the payment. Because without the payment, everything else is a dream. It's not reality. How do you see the importance of payments in defining the experience of the consumer or the traveler as they come to some of your properties?
Look, I listened to you this morning, and you said something that was just still resonated with me. You said you went to was it Faroe Island you went to? Yeah. And you said the population of 4, you basically used your Apple Pay, and it worked. And you know what? Increasingly, I speak of myself as a consumer. And when I travel to countries that still do not accept Apple Pay, for example, it gives me anxiety because I don't carry a wallet anymore, and I don't carry physical cards. My Visa card is on my Apple Pay. So it's great to be in a place like Dubai where digital payments are accepted everywhere, even for Chinese travelers. Yeah, and this is absolutely critical today. I have everything on my phone, everything. I do not need to carry anything else.
Yeah.
No physical cards. And consumers today, when they travel, digital payment, whether you're sending a payment link in advance to pay for certain things to confirm your booking, and how fast that thing works, and it does work, is great. But also, if just being able to tap for things that you buy, whether it's, for example, now you stay in our hotels and you order room service, and you don't want to charge it to your room, you just want to pay for it, right? The room service already comes with your machine, right? You just tap, pay, and it's gone. It's not on your room bill. So let's say you have a business trip and you brought your family along. You're charging the room and charges to the business, but then you have your family separately, right? So whatever the kids order or you do, you just tap the room service. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like, as we continue to evolve, as digital payments become more and more integrated into our business, we'll see greater demand for it. And I think hotels and industries in general who do not have that, I think they're probably going to lose out.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And as you said, right, things are becoming more blended.
They have it, yes.
And as things become more blended, it's more and more important to provide the options to the consumer, to flexibility to the consumer, because we all know it's safer to pay by card. We all know it's more convenient to pay by cards and credentials. Therefore, the more chances and the opportunities and flexibility you give me as a consumer to be able to use that, the better for all of us.
Absolutely.
No, fully agree. In this world, as we grow, we're not the only ones, bro, right? There are a lot of other properties, a lot of other hotels, a lot of other demands on the consumer, be it by traditional competitors, but also be it by, let's say, other elements that demand your consumer's attention away from the more traditional tourism. In this world where the consumer has so many choices and so many demands on their attention, how do you focus on creating customer loyalty? And how do you make sure that your customers and your key customers keep coming back to you to get that exceptional experience?
Amazing. We talked about data earlier. Yeah. So using this data to better understand consumer preferences, especially when they're staying with you, right? Our teams across all brands have been trained to actually observe how you're staying in your room. And recognition is so great. It's not just calling you by your name when you check in. You feel recognized when you see that your preferences in the room are actually anticipated in advance, right? For example, I stayed in one of our hotels recently, and they turned down the room or the bed from the left side. I sleep on the right side. So they realized that I was not sleeping on that side. So the next day they came and turned down the bed on the right side. So although their natural tendency was to do it on this side, they realized, he's not sleeping here, he's sleeping there. So everything shifted. My water bottles, everything shifted to the right side with them recognizing. So for me, I go, wow, these people recognize, right? And when I go into the bathroom, my toiletries are spread in a way that they recognize that he puts these things in a way, and they just organize it in the same way I did, probably more neatly. And you realize, wow, I love this, right? Now, another hotel of ours recognized that I'm coming on a business trip. They realize I have one carry-on, so they realize this guy might have two suits on him. Now, I took off my suit and shirt that I already used, and I hung them in my closet. What'd they do? They picked them up, dry cleaned them, put them back in, and they said to me, you have 2 pieces of laundry free anyway, so we did that for you. You come to the room and they're bagged and clean. Well, I did not expect that. All right. So that creates loyalty beyond anything else, right? Now, when these preferences starts to go into your profile,
Yeah.
and you start to realize that before you check in, right at the reservation point, people are recognizing your preferences, right? Even on the phone call or on email or on your apps, you can't help but become loyal, right? That just drives your loyalty, right? Yeah.
Oh, those are phenomenal examples.
Absolutely, yeah. But again, look, going into the technology piece, look, we've invested to reimagine our IHG One Rewards reservations and loyalty app to make it much more seamless, right? And very quick. Within 3 clicks, you can make a booking, right? But also, it allows you to do a travel plan. It's not just a room reservation. If you wanted to do a whole travel plan, it allows you to do that within this application. at a very, very great speed. We also allow people now to redeem their points instantly. So if you're staying in a hotel and you have points and you decide, I don't want to pay for this meal, I just want to use my points, you tap, you've already redeemed your points. It's done. Right. So all of these investments that we made to really enhance our capabilities on loyalty has really driven our loyal members back to our hotels and our enterprise.
That's fantastic. And I think, again, now with the advent of more technology, more AI, right? It can be both an opportunity, but also a challenge.
Sure.
And it sounds like you guys are one step ahead of it, and hopefully the opportunity.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Lovely having you.
Same here. Thank you.